Good evening, everyone. Welcome to CW Live. My name's Chris Webb, Head of Communications at the CW. A really special show tonight. It's the last one we're going to have during the balloting period, at least, for the Count Me In campaign. So with me tonight, we've got President of the CW, Karen Rose. Good evening, Karen.
Hi, Chris.
And we've got our Deputy General Secretary for Telecoms and Financial Services, Andy Kerr. Good evening, Andy.
Evening, Chris.
Yeah, so basically, we're not going to be keeping you long tonight. It's a little bit about saying thank you to the fantastic work you've done, but we've also spotted 3 or 4 key questions which are getting asked by the members consistently. So Karen and Andy are going to do their best to mop those up, as well as, you know, in the final sort of few minutes, just send you some really succinct messages on why we need you to vote in the last week and why it is so crucial that every single member gets that vote out. So I'm going to hand over to Karen now. Karen's going to make an opening statement, and then Andy will do the same, and then we'll get into those 3 or 4 questions, like I said. While Karen's making an introduction, it'd be great if you could tell us, 1, where you're watching from, and 2, tell us if you voted yes, because that support means so much to us, and it really does inject that enthusiasm and momentum into the campaign. So without any further ado, over to you, Karen.
Thank you, Chris. And you're absolutely right, of course. There's been fantastic support. So basically, in the last 2 weeks since we opened the ballot, and we've only got a week to go now, it's been a fantastic exercise. And the momentum we've built up along the way has just been pretty amazing, really. We've seen some fantastic reps. Our representatives out there, our CWU reps, have been absolutely fantastic. They have worked night and day, basically. They've done their day jobs, where they're looking after members and looking after the members' issues in the workplace. And then they've gone on to do the work, out of hours in their own time for contacting our members with regard to this ballot. And they've been absolutely relentless. And I want to say thank you to them, because you've actually been tremendous, all of you. And we have really, really seen the results. And this ballot is going really well. We know it's going really well because we're seeing the stuff on social media. We're having the feedback that's coming from our members in the workplace. And we know that our messages are well and truly out there, and our members have been voting. So this is with a week to go. And we want to say to you that there is only a week now to cast your vote. If you're undecided, it is absolutely crucial that you vote. You need to make up your mind. So basically, if there's anything that we can do to help, you need to contact your branch and talk to them about any concerns or issues that you've got. But basically, we want all the members who have already cast their vote to make sure that they're talking to their friends, their colleagues, the people that they sit within the workplace normally, and they might not be at the moment because people are working from home, but we're asking them to make sure that they talk to everybody and make sure that everybody has cast their vote in this ballot, because it is absolutely vital that we hear from everybody.
Thank you, Karen. Andy, I'll come to you now, if I can, for some opening words. And, you know, I know you've been, I mean, in sort of traditional form, and in a pre-COVID world, you'd have been on the road relentlessly trying to win the ballot, but you've been on your laptop relentlessly trying to win the ballot in this one. But it's been hard work, but we're really seeing the fruits of the work now, aren't we?
Yeah, no, absolutely, Chris, and you're right. Nothing would have given me more pleasure than to travel the length and breadth of the country during this period of a consultative ballot, and I'm sure that's it. I'm saying that for the executive, saying that from my fellow officers, and I'm saying that from a branch activist. I know they would love to be out and about mixing with our members. Unfortunately, COVID, we can't do that, but we're doing what we can, and we're doing it mainly through social media, mainly online, and we've learned many lessons from this. But like Karen, I would like to say a major thank you to every single one of you who have come onto this tonight, and to everybody else who's taken part in this ballot, who's helped in any way whatsoever. I'm glad that you've understood how crucial this is, and every effort you've put in is really appreciated by us all. And as Karen said, you know, this is really important. This is a really important vote that we are having with BT. We need to get as many to vote in this ballot as possible. and that's the important thing. So thanks to everyone who's voted in this ballot. But what I would ask you, and as Karen has just asked you too, is go and speak to other colleagues. Go out there, speak to others, and convince them that they have to vote in this. And I will say, we did a National Phone Banking Day on Monday. Thanks for everyone again who took part in that. That's been a great success. Obviously, that work continues, and branches are doing a fantastic job in that too. So let's contact these members. Let's convince them that the union's right. We are standing up for them against this employer, and ask them to vote. That's the main thing for us. So again, once again, just thank you.
Thank you, Andy. And as both of you are speaking there, I can see the comments just flooded in of support, and it's overwhelming. So thank you for what you've done, as both Karen and Andy have said, but come on, let's just get that few more votes out, speak to your colleagues. So we're going to now move on to the questions that we've picked up over the last couple of weeks from our members that had a common theme. Coming to you first, if I can, Karen, and then Andy as well. I mean, what I'll do is I'll obviously put a question to you individually, but if you want to jump in on the back of the answers, please feel free to do so. Karen, one of the issues we've had raised is that management across BT Group, Openreach and EE, saying to our members that their votes in this ballot aren't confidential, that the company will find out how they voted. So what would we say to that, clearly ridiculous statement?
Absolutely. And it's absolutely impossible, right? Because I can tell you now that that BT, EE, Openreach, none of them will have access to any information about this ballot other than the information that we give them, right? Now, the thing is that they're saying that it's not confidential. Well, it absolutely is confidential, because we are running this ballot, right? And we don't even know how you voted. So to be honest, the only thing that we'll get at the end is the result. How many people have voted which way? That's what we'll get at the end. We won't know. It's confidential in the way that even the CWU doesn't know which way you voted. So it's really, really important that you vote. It is absolutely confidential. There is no way that the company will know whether you voted, let alone which way you voted. So we would absolutely encourage you to make sure you vote. Don't be bullied into believing that some way they can find out and there'll be a punishment for it, because it's absolutely impossible for them to find out, and there certainly can't be any repercussions because of it.
Thank you, Andy. Did you want to come in on that one?
No, but I think Karen's covered it all. One thing I would say is, I love these managers that make these stupid statements that they make. Let them carry on making them. But what I will say is, if a manager does say it to any of our members, that's a statement, give me their name. Give me their name. I'll deal with them. You don't have to face them up. Just give me their name and I'll deal with them.
Thank you, Andy. Couldn't have been clearer there, my friend. Come back to you if I can, Andy. We've got obviously some members who fantastically are super keen to support the union, but haven't been able to get their ballot paper yet. I suppose it's just that, question of reassurance around the fact that at headquarters, our team are working around the clock to make sure everyone gets their vote, really.
Yeah, I mean, we are, and there has been, as you would expect, trying to do it this way electronically. There has been some difficulties. We're fighting our way through it. We have been saying quite clearly we're sending this to private email addresses. If you haven't recorded your private email address with us, that's one of the issues that's came across. Sometimes there's been mistakes in there. We are refreshing it every couple of days, all the information. More votes are going out. We have still a bit more work to do. So any issues you've got, we've got the Count Me In email address. By all means, email us. We are going through it. We've got, as Chris just said there, we've got staff working on this virtually all day, every day through it. We did have some difficulties at the tail end of last week. Unfortunately, we don't control the power, and we did have some problems at head office regards to that. So we are working our way through it. Please bear with us. But if you haven't received any ballot papers, if any people that's on know of anybody who hasn't received a ballot paper, by all means contact us through the Count Me In email address, and we'll ensure that you get a ballot before next week.
Thank you, Andy. Karen, so the third of the four sort of frequently asked questions, if you like, has been from those members, for a variety of reasons. Most of them are obviously clearly absolutely genuine, still sit at this point having received their ballot, but are undecided. And what would you say to that group of members on the importance of casting their vote in this ballot?
Well, look, Chris, I can understand, right, why we've got a whole population of members out there who have never experienced this kind of action that the union has taken before, right? And there's a very good reason for that. We haven't taken a step like this for over 30 years. So it's understandable that this is unfamiliar territory for an awful lot of our members, because anybody that's come to work for the company in the last 30 years has never experienced this before. And this isn't a decision that the union have taken lightly. But I suppose there are members out there that perhaps don't know that they don't realise maybe they only joined in the last 5 years, and they don't understand that this is something that the union has not done for over 30 years. And there's a really good reason for that. It's because we have never found ourselves in this position in the last 30 years, where we genuinely believe there are real threats that will threaten the future employment of our members in BT, right? And therefore, we have taken this action of making a stance and entering into this consultative ballot for a very good reason. And so what I would say to those members is, look, this isn't a decision that we've taken lightly. And I understand that it's not a decision that you should take lightly, but I think you are a member of this union and you are entitled to have your say, and we need to hear your view. So what I would say is it's absolutely vital that you vote. If you're undecided, I would ask you to read through the documentation that we've sent you again, because I think that we have laid out the case as to why we believe that you should be voting yes. There's lots of information available. Our branches have got lots of information as to what the reasons are, but I think that there can't be a member out there of ours now that hasn't been provided with the reasons why we want them to vote and why we want them to vote yes. And what I would say is, genuinely, this is not a decision we've taken lightly. This is not a decision that we take on a regular basis. This is, not something that we've done for 30 years. And that is the importance that we're placing on this. And so it is vital that you vote. And I would genuinely ask you to cast that vote. Make your decision and cast your vote. And we are asking you to vote yes.
Thank you, Karen. Fantastic. Andy, back on to your favourite subject matter, the views of BT management. One of the things that I've noticed, and it's come up in our chat, in our comment boxes on social media, is the growing confidence of our membership as this dispute is started to roll out. And in amongst that growing confidence, we've seen a couple of, I don't know what the right phrase would be. You perhaps find the words better than I would, but maybe petulant reactions from management. Does that not show that, the pressure is starting to build? And, is that not more reason for people to keep voting yes and keep going?
Absolutely. The more we can annoy the management, the better, in my opinion. And the one thing that does worry me sometimes is, the sort of first, second level managers who seem to take great pleasure in the sort of bullying tactics, and sometimes with our members and saying certain things and getting a little bit annoyed. Well, actually, what we are fighting for here today in this ballot. Yeah, we're fighting for every one of the CWU members, and we're fighting for every team member that works for BT. But if we're not successful, those management jobs are also under threat. And sometimes those managers should understand that. It's actually the might of the CWU that's saving them in some ways. So maybe they should start to understand that. And we should never back down to them in any way at all. And if any of my members feels as if they're being bullied or harassed by any manager, I would ask them quite clearly, get in touch with your branch, get in touch with your branch officers, because they'll stand up against them. And I can assure you this, I will stand up against any manager who bullies or harasses any one of my members, as will my executive. And I want to give that absolute assurance to everyone out there. I don't care. If we have annoyed management, good. That's what we're out to do just now, annoy them. And yes, when we are looking after this company. It's the people in this company at the top of it think they run it and we're just the minions. Well, they have to understand it's actually us that keep this company running. It's us that keep this company in profit. And it's us that will be here when they all go.
Fantastic, Andy, and lots of people getting right beyond that and saying well said. So that's brilliant. I've got one question for you both, and then I'm going to give you the chance to sum up if you like. Karen, I'm going to come to you. Try and finish this session, because I think all of our sessions have been extremely positive and the reception from the members has been fantastic. But one of the things that we do in these campaigns, and I know that Andy, yourself, and the executive set out to do, is grow the union, bring through the next generation of representatives, and we have to say, like, some of the representatives we're seeing out there have done some stunning work on behalf of the union in the last few months, haven't they?
Well, yeah, absolutely. No, they have. And we've seen some new faces. We've seen people stepping up to the plate. Almost really, we've seen our reps being newly invigorated and enthused by this campaign, which has been fantastic. But we've also, I mean, as you know, Chris, and a lot of the members will know, we've also run some kind of specialist events for our women members and for our younger members, our young activists and young members, and actually it's really fantastic if out of this campaign we see new activists coming through, and because that's what renews and refreshes our movement, not just our union but the whole of the trade union movement. And it's absolutely vital that continues in order for us to have a succession plan into the future and to keep our union and the movement strong, and to make sure that we continue to stand up against injustice and to stand up against unfairness, and to make sure that we are making challenges in work locations where challenges need to be made, to make sure that that our members, the workers, are properly represented and are protected in their workplace, basically from the excesses of some management styles. So basically, it's been fantastic. We've seen some brilliant new reps come through. It's really, really heartening. I'm certainly really pleased about it, and long may it continue. And I hope that they will continue to be involved in our movement and in this union long after we win this campaign.
Thank you, Karen. That's brilliant. Andy, I mean, Karen made the link into my final question by mentioning the fact that we've had lots of different types of sessions. People have even had the audacity to say they don't want to hear from me and you, Andy, and kicked us off the screen, and had all sorts of other sessions. But whether it be our young workers, our business specific, the fantastic session, CW Women's session that was held last week, it really has been a team effort where lots of different individuals have worked collectively to try and get the right result, which we all hope for next Thursday. So, I suppose a word from yourself on, the collective and individual efforts that have gone into this.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, Chris. There's been some great efforts individually by people, but it's a collective. That's the issue, and I think that's what we tried to say at the outset of this campaign, about coming together, working together to one common end, and that has worked. We have actually came together as an organisation massively across the length and breadth of the country. We have came together, and we're all as one here. There has been no fallout, no disagreement about what we're doing. We have been all together, and that's the point. Unity is strength, and we have proved it to be the case. So sticking together, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. That's the point. We have to just keep arguing the case that we're arguing, getting people to vote, make sure that they do vote. And I would like to see some more activity maybe in the workplace. Let's get in their faces in the workplace if we can. I understand everybody's working, a lot of people working from home and working outside where they normally are. But let's get the Openreach vans, and let's tell people that don't be scared. Let's be actually upfront and say, I'm proud to be a part of the CW. I'm proud to have voted in this, and I'm proud to have voted yes. There's been nothing wrong with that whatsoever, because if we stick together, we will win. It's as simple as that.
Thank you, Andy. Fantastic. And I think that pride in being a member of the union and pride for standing alongside your colleagues is really shining through, not just in this session, but all of them we've had. I'm going to ask you both now, starting with yourself, Karen, just for some final thoughts. But I mean, I suppose to bear in mind, we've got lots and lots of communications to come out in the next 7-8 days, but this is the last time Andy and yourself will speak to the members ahead of the results. So any final things you want to get across to people, really, starting with you, Karen?
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Well, look, I suppose that the message, and I am repeating it, I know, but the message is we really, really, really want to make sure that everybody has voted in this ballot, right? And like I said, we've had a fantastic response. We're really pleased. We know the hard work that's been put into it, but it's really, really crucial now that we bring in those last votes for people who are either undecided up until now, or are, just haven't found their ballot paper or something like that. So really, I suppose my last message is, please make sure that you talk to all of your colleagues. If you've already voted yourself, thank you very much. Please make sure you talk to all your colleagues. It's really important that we want everybody to vote. Look for those ballot papers. If you haven't got a ballot paper, you need to email us at the CMI address that we've put out on all of our communications, and let us know, and we will get a ballot paper to you, as Andy has said earlier, and get your votes in. And I am thoroughly looking forward to seeing you next Thursday with the ballot result.
Fantastic. Thank you, Karen. And we've just put the message up there on screen for anyone who hasn't got the ballot paper. You can get your email address. You can get your vote, from that email address. Also, Karen's just indicated the result next week. You join us we will advertise this, but join us at 1 o'clock next Thursday for the big news. So we will advertise that session, but that's an exclusive for you. Heading into what is my honour to introduce Andy now to close the session. Andy Kerr, Deputy General Secretary.
Well, thanks, Chris. I mean, and there is some other people I just want to thank as we finish off here. I mean, I want to thank my own staff, the staff that we've got at the head office in Wimbledon, for the tremendous work that they've done on behalf of yourselves, our members, and to Chris and Chris's staff in the comms department for the work that they've done. We've came together, working really closely together over the last few weeks, and it has been quite a bit of work. And a big thank you goes to them. As I said earlier, big thanks to you all. As Karen says, keep voting as we go on. We will be sending other reminders out over the next few days. Main thing is, speak to every one of your work colleagues, as many people as possible. Ask them to vote. If they haven't got the ballot papers, as Chris said, by all means contact us. But I mean, I think the simple question is, if you ask one of your work colleagues, have you voted? And the answer is no. Ask them why. Ask them why. Why have they not voted in this? This is all about the job security of every one of our members at MBT, and we have to stick together. And I'll tell you something now. Next Thursday at 1 o'clock, as Chris has just said, we will announce the ballot result. And I'm absolutely confident that we'll get a great turnout in this ballot. And I'm absolutely confident we'll get a massive yes vote in this ballot. Absolutely confident of that. And I'll be the proudest man ever if I can do that and announce it to yourselves alongside Karen and Chris and Dave, Dave Ward, our General Secretary. This is a turning point for the TNFS constituency in this union. It's a turning point. And we will quite clearly, now we've got into the campaigning mode again. Now we've enthused our activists, enthused other people out there, got new reps in place. We can do a lot more than what we've done in the last few months. The future is going to be good for the CWU and telecoms, and you want to be part of it. So thank you all again for everything you've been doing for us.
There's simply nothing more to add to that, apart from thank you, Karen, thank you, Andy, thank you to the members, and please spend the next 8 days getting the vote out. Good night, everybody.
No,